welcome to my toy box. It's Mark Hyman, and yes, we're still closed, we're still in quarantine, but I'm still playing with my cars. I wanted to share something really special with you today, and this is a Chrysler GS1. After World War II, Chrysler found itself behind the eight ball when it came to its competition. GM, Ford, Studebaker, and some of the other manufacturers had come up with post-war designs that were far more contemporary, far more sexy, and they really were exciting. Well, Chrysler, pre-war, was known as an ultra-conservative manufacturer. And after World War II, they found themselves way behind. So Chrysler's CEO at the time was K.T. Keller. And K.T. Keller decided that he needed to do whatever he could to wake things up. Chrysler's design department at the time was also part of their engineering department, which really didn't do what it could for having exciting craftsmen and design artists in-house. So Keller reached out to Ghia of Italy to come up with a series of what he called idea cars. Now the first cars were one-offs, the DeSoto Adventurer and some of these cars that were really designed to be show cars, and they were one-offs. They still exist, by the way, and they're fabulous. But Keller thought that he would put into production a series of 400 cars that would be produced, that would get sold, and that would show the US public that Chrysler was on their game creating exciting, sexy, magnificent cars. Well, what happened was the cars were very expensive to produce, so there was only 50 of them in 3 variations. The first ones, and there was just a handful of each. The first ones was the Ghia Special. The second one was the GS1, of which this is. And the third one was, I believe, called the ST. Now this particular car is really unique. It's one of 2 that were built with rear bucket seats rather than the bench seat. And the grille is unique in that the grille has no horizontal bars. So only 2 cars like this were produced. Both of them were thought to be produced for Chrysler executives because both of them were invoiced to the Chrysler Export Corporation. This car has another interesting twist, and that is that when this car was 5 years old, 1959, which is actually the year I was born, 1959, this car was shown at Pebble Beach, and it won its class. Now that's pretty cool for a 5-year-old car. When I purchased the car, with it came photos of the original owner in California with his car on the stand at Pebble Beach winning a trophy. And interestingly enough, when I got the file on the car, it also had the ribbon that it had won for best of class. Sometime in the 1970s, the car was sold to a gentleman who's now deceased, but was a very dear friend of mine, Martin Swig. Martin Swig was based in San Francisco. He was a car dealer, he was an enthusiast, and he was also the founder of the California Mille. Well, Martin owned the car for some years. He sold it, I'm gonna say in the very early 1980s, to a gentleman in San Francisco who had the car until I purchased it from him last summer. So since I've had it, I've done a lot of mechanical upgrading. I've done a tremendous amount of cosmetic work to bring it up to the condition you see today. Some of the more interesting items that you'll find on the car: Marshall headlamps, fog lamps, really unique. Now remember, this is custom coach work done by Ghia. These little Marshall side marker lights are something you would see on early Delahaye's and Delages and Talbots of the time. In fact, I have a Peugeot Dalmat Roadster, which has these on it. Wire wheels. But the overall look of the car is not that of Chrysler. It is unique, it is sexy, it is beautiful. Power is by a Chrysler 331 cubic inch Hemi with an automatic transmission. It's a big car. It's a real big car, but it drives like a sports car. This to me is one of the most exquisite hybrid cars, a European coachwork with American drivetrain, Fossil Vega, Dual Ghia, Nash Healy, Ghia Chrysler. It's a pretty special thing. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I do. Thanks, stay safe.